Now we have a new version of the Return of the Mack. It is Chris Mack throwing haymakers at John Calipari, cutting this WWE promo, as you said, in his office.
I keep getting asked, Coach, are we playing the game? Are you scared? Are you a chicken? You won't play Kentucky? As for the UK series, here's the thing. I want to do what's most convenient for John and his program. You do believe that, right? That I want to do what's best for John?
We have to break this down because this is, I guess the big question becomes, where does this rank on a scale of 1 to Steve Forbes on the insane ACC coaches losing their minds during the pandemic power rankings? Where does this fall, Tate?
It's at the top of the list, and I think it may have surpassed Steve Forbes because Steve Forbes was one action, right? It was one slam. It was one mass to the ground. Yeah. This was 2 minutes and 9 seconds of pure gold, and it was a pent-up response to what we talked about in the last program we had, which was Calipari. He beat the news cycle. He got ahead of this. He said, they don't want to play us. They're 2-11 this decade. They are scared to play the Cats. And Chris Mack, just like the rest of us, he's human. He's online. He's seeing these responses. He's seeing these remarks from these bluegrass people that are so obsessed with being a blue blood and talking to Louisville. And he says, you know what? I'm going to fight fire with a flamethrower, and I'm just going to go straight at Coach Cal's neck and air all the grievances that we have going on right now. Talk about specific dates. Talk about how we have tried to appease this whole situation.
Never mind the fact that we had a December 12th mutually agreed upon date to play the game. And never mind the fact that they backed out of the 12th because they were returning from London on December 6th after playing Michigan. Felt it was too close to the 12th. Never mind the fact that that December 6th game got canceled. No trip to London. Can we play that game on the 12th? Never mind the fact that they scheduled Notre Dame in lieu of playing us on the mutually agreed upon date of December 12th.
And Coach Cal responds, pretty harmlessly, but let's talk about Chris Mack first.
Let's talk about Chris Mack. I love the move. It is honestly the only thing keeping me from siding with Chris Mack full speed ahead. Actually, there's two things. One, Louisville has to win. Like, yes. If you're the school that always loses in this rivalry, you have no leg to stand on. Even though everything Chris Mack did here was beautiful. He was correct. I love that he was so candid with, like, here's what's going on. This is ridiculous. Here's why it's ridiculous. Here's my case. I'm not going to say this to John Calipari on the phone. I'm going to make a public video that's going to be seen 2 million times or whatever it is. I'm going to put this out there, and that's amazing. It's great for college basketball. But Louisville always loses. So no matter what, no matter how right you are, it's always going to look like you're scared to play Kentucky because you always lose to Kentucky. And I know Chris Mack hasn't been at Louisville a long time. He's not responsible for all the other losses. But at the same time, like, that's kind of a non-starter just right there. It's like already immediately you always lose. So it's kind of hard to win this thing. Secondly, the reason Chris Mack loses is we invited him to come on this program to address this firsthand, to come on a neutral ground where you and I we're very neutral parties to the Kentucky-Louisville rivalry. We just wanted to hear his case. We invited him. Come on the program, Chris. He declined our invitation.
Formally.
Yeah. Hard not to take that personally. What is he scared of is what you have to ask yourself. And I guess that's where I stand on it all. But I do say that, like, Chris Mack's case that he's making makes a lot of sense. That I do think, like, in a vacuum, I almost said in a bubble just because I'm used to using that phrase. In a vacuum, which is different from a bubble, different from a pod. In a vacuum, I think I side with Chris Mack and how to resolve this scheduling issue, which is to say that, like, all things being equal, it is kind of that Louisville has to basically throw away one of their home games against Kentucky by playing it with no fans. And it could so easily be solved by just playing on neutral sites, especially Coach Cal is famous for loving neutral sites. That's all he ever wants. That's why the Indiana-Kentucky rivalry is not going on. Indiana wants to play it on campus. Cal says, let's play it on neutral sites. Now Chris Mack's like, let's play on neutral sites. And Cal's like, I'm a campus
Let's just
guy.
not play. Yeah.
I've always been a campus guy. Everyone knows that. But it's just the one thing you can't get over is that Louisville always loses this game. So it's like hard to – if I'm a Kentucky fan, I don't feel like – I don't know. That's That's where I stand on this. If the roles were reversed, if this was Cal making this promo, like Chris Mack would have to quit his job. Like if it's the guy that always wins the rivalry that comes out and has this flamethrower, the other guy has to quit his job. He has to walk away. He has to resign in shame because it's but it's not. So it's, I don't know.
And that's what I think is the best part about this whole situation was Chris Mack was allowed to poke the bear because he knew that he is so basically behind the 8 ball in this situation, especially in the state of Kentucky. I mean, in the 80s, when the Doctors of Dunk are happening, Kentucky still wouldn't play Louisville because they were like, why would we even entertain that? We are a Kentucky basketball state. Like, that is a separate entity. That is Louisville, like Cincinnati is in Ohio. We talked about that. And then, I mean, just for Chris Mack to bring up Mark Stoops and bring up the fact that the football program had already appeased this same request.
Never mind the fact that Coach Stoops and his football program at the University of Kentucky honored that request in football to move Louisville's home game from 2020 to 2021. If you can do it in football, seems like you could do it in basketball.
For the fact that Mack was able to do that publicly, that says a lot about, his bravado in the rivalry. And there is a showmanship here too. Like if Cal were to go at him and say, man, that was really wild for you to air this out. He's like, hey baby, it's good for the rivalry. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that he has the perfect cop out there, which is
in all seriousness, it is great for the rivalry. It is, I don't think these guys necessarily hate each other, but this is, Cal and Patino were
too friendly.
Way too friendly.
It was like they were both on the same side. It's kind of like when you see like politicians, you're like, they're best friends.
Yeah. There's like, too much like I need Kentucky Louisville, the post-game handshake line. If one of the coaches is putting, as they're shaking, the coaches are putting their other hand on each other, their left hand on each other's shoulders and looking each other in the eye. And it looks like they're about to kiss, which happens so many times with like these esteemed higher up. Like it happens with Roy and Kay still. And
of course, yeah.
You know, like it gets too much. It's too much. We need the blow by. We need the Tom Crean blow by, which is what Tom Crean did in the Big Ten all the time when he get his ass kicked. He just do the blow by. He just shake and keep walking. And that's great for college basketball. That's great for rivalries. I do love this. I want to talk about the video itself. So one, I think maybe I hope you'll agree with me on this, that this was taken in one. This was one take, right?
This is one take for sure.
I think we need to point that out, that this was a one take shot. And the way we know this is because when Chris Mack punches his table like he's Dwight Schrute giving the speech and just doesn't know what to do, so he just keeps. What did he say? He said whatever is most convenient for Cal, and then just gives it a nice punch.
Whatever is most convenient for Coach Cal, we'll do it.
And his camera, or I assume it was his phone, just falls. Like the angle changes. It was so good. And the fact that he wasn't like, maybe I should reshoot that or whatever, made it feel so much more authentic. So that stood out to me. Number two, can we help out Chris Mack with his office decor? It looked like this guy was shooting this in like a 3-star hotel. Like just the weird, it looked like he just had like random stock pictures of like kids running through fields of flowers, like hanging up behind him. It was very bizarre.
It was almost like he didn't want Cal to know where he was reporting from. You know what I mean? Like it was like a remote location, and he was like, "Yeah, you'll never find where I am, Coach. This is where I'm giving the hot button." I will say, like, I want to know what got him to the point to press record. Right? That to me is the fascinating part. Like, what was the leading up to? Like, who was coming in and dropping? Like, and Cal said this, and this is coming out, and they're saying this on the Big Blue Nation boards. Like, what was the thing that set him over the edge? Because that to me is fascinating. What was the thing where he's like, I have to air this out to the world? People,
you know what, Tate? If he was on the show, we could ask him that, but he cowardly will not appear on this program. And I don't know. I think that's just a shameful way to handle this, Coach.
I think the next move is that we reach out to Coach Cal and we let him break down what actually happened.
Chris Mack did not want to come on the program. Would you like to, Cal? And he's like, also no. I'm like, cool. All right. So
all right. Thanks, Coach. I will say also, like the fact that like the winning, like the fact that we're playing on December 26th, these poor kids, man, they were like, I can go home for Christmas, I can enjoy myself, and then like this video leads to, all right, December 26th.
It is
day after Christmas. You're done.
It is South Park Little League. The adults fighting in the stands.
It's the Bat Dad.
Chris Mack is Randy Marsh, and Coach Cal is the Bat Dad, and they're fighting, and they're like, "You guys have to play because we have to duel. We have to settle this beef." Great point, though. What was Chris Mack doing right before he shot the video? That is a great thought exercise. Was he just on his elliptical, just listening to like Lose Yourself.
Yeah, definitely Eminem or Fort Minor. It's definitely
Fort
one or the
Minor.
other. Yeah.
And he's
Your
sweating
choice.
and he's throwing punches, and then he's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Set the phone down. I'm gonna do it. Or was he having a great day? And then like the SID walks in, they're like, Coach, remember that video you're scheduled for today? And he's like, is that today? God damn it. Let me get mad. And he just starts punching his face. And he's like, here we go. All right, here we go. Here we go. And then he psychs himself up and just goes. Really, really a good question. But yeah, I think in a vacuum, my official stance is I side with Chris Mack. I think in all seriousness, they should play this on a neutral site. I think John Calipari needs to respect force majeure. We are a force majeure podcast. And it really just seems stupid. And if you're doing the thing, I'm going to play the card. All the coaches love to play the safety card. I'm going to play the what's best for college basketball card.
Yep.
And what is best for college basketball is that this is played on a neutral site. It just for this year. It's best that we get next year. Like you don't, Louisville doesn't forfeit a home game, because what's best for college basketball is rivalry games are played in front of fans. And if you're playing it in the home arena, there should be a full arena there. Since that can't happen, we have to concede some things, and we should play it on a neutral site. I don't know.
And
I genuinely believe that.
Yeah, I think the idea of a neutral court is fine and dandy. Yeah. I think the best part about all this is that if Calipari blows out Louisville in the KFC Yum Center, he's going to act out. He's going to make a show of the press conference, because you showed him up. The fact that he just said see you on December 26th, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he has something else planned. I know a lot of people, the fanfare, Jeff Goodman said something, Dick Vitale's like, I needed more from you, coach. He's got a plan. And the plan is to beat their ass.
Yeah, to beat their ass, because
and then talk after the game.
As great as all this chirping is, all that ultimately matters is who wins the game. And Kentucky always wins the game. And Cal knows that, which is why he's just like, see you on the 26th.
Yeah, see you there.
That's all I got to say.
For the best access, perspective, and personalities in all of sports, follow us at Fox Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.